Shabbat Shalom,
Shabbat Shalom.
which is peace on Yahweh's holy Sabbath day. Welcome to another holy convocation that Yahweh has enjoined unto us here in Stone Mountain, Georgia. As we know, when we read in the volume of this book, it says, unless a man is born again, he shall not enter into the kingdom of Elohim. And this being born again takes on several phases. Of course, the beginning of that being born again is that baptism. Yeshua said, I am the door. If any man will enter in, he must come through that door. So we must be first baptized in the name of Yeshua. As it is written in Acts, there's only one name under heaven by which we must be saved. So what the adversary wants to do is to cause you to walk in a way that you separate yourself from your Elohim, even without knowing it, by giving us this pagan, Latin, Greek hybrid of a name of Jesus. It basically nullified all of those baptisms done in that name. When you find out that all of these Hebrew names, all Hebrew names have a definition. All of these things were set forth to go a certain way. But the adversary is very crafty in making his attempt to get the children of Israel to walk away from Yahweh. But there are stages in that baptism, because after you get this natural baptism and walk through the door, then you'll have that spiritual baptism, that baptism of fire, where we allow the word and situations and circumstances that we encounter to allow us to spiritually be born again. And that means relearning some of the things that we thought we already knew. And in that birthing process, we know that there were, in the natural birthing process, there's pains, there's labor pains. But you didn't feel that. The person that was birthing you felt those labor pains. Well, in the spiritual baptism, as we go through the process of burning off some of those things that need to be gone, we're going to feel some of those labor pains. And labor pains are something. If you ever watched a woman give birth, there are some that say right off the rip, they're going to go natural, and they're not going to take nothing. And then that first labor pain hit, and they said, give me all the dope you can find. And you have to be careful with that. It seems as if you can't make it through when you get those labor pains, but you have to look at and take those things for what they are. Some of the things are difficult to shed off of you, but just consider those things as those labor pains in that spiritual birthing process. It's going to hurt. It's going to be some issues. But as it is written, once a woman is delivered of her child, all of the labor pains immediately leave her once she has the joy of that baby in her arms. And you are the baby. You are feeling the labor pains, and it seems unbearable at times. But once you get over that hump, it will then become a testimony for you that you have made it through that part. Brother, would you read the oracles and entreat the angel that stands at the door to come in and sup with us and us with him, that we may make this a holy convocation by the angel's presence?
1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober, and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received a gift, even so minister the same one to another, as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yeshua the Messiah, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you are sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as dear children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becomes saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather given of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you upon earth. Therefore let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you, to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him, and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right. Now this week I encountered a situation where I needed something done to my car. So I went to my dad's friend, who had also been my friend in times past, to ask him some pointers on what I should do. First of all, my dad's friend was drunk. His words were slurring, and he started boasting about how long he had been doing what he was doing. He never really looked at the issue that I asked him about. I was angry, so I left and called one of my childhood friends, whom I had known since the 4th grade. I hadn't talked to him in at least over 10 years, but I knew that he could help me with my problem. When I went to see my childhood friend, we talked for so long that I ended up for a moment forgetting what issue I was supposed to be dealing with. Even though my life had changed and I wasn't exactly the way he had remembered me, we were still friends. He had accomplished many things, and I was glad for him, and he was with me. I later realized that the problem with my first friend happened for a reason. It forced me to go and have that conversation with my childhood friend because it was a time for those conversations and things to be had. When you look at the situation with Moshe, Yahweh ended up dealing with him in these sections. We're talking about this man getting to 40 years of age, and then Yahweh causing some situations to happen, and then he has to flee from the place that he had known, out of Pharaoh's house. In that period of this next 40 years is where he was then taught all of these things. Now, even running out of Egypt, Yahweh then has him to land in a place where he's dealing with the priest of that area, and then even marries the daughter of that priest. This was the next 40-year period of his life. After that, then Yahweh sent him back, even amongst all of his family and his former friends. What ends up happening sometimes is we have to be strong enough to go back into certain areas so that we can righteously deal with some things. As it is written, a prophet is not without honor save in his own town and in his own house. A lot of times in those places where you grew up, they're not going to respect you as being this new individual. So sometimes there has to be enough separation for you to grow. And a lot of times we fight that separation. We want to still be with our old familiar friends and not understanding that sometimes that is stunting your growth. You need to be apart long enough so that you can grow without questioning every step of your growth. Then when your growth is there, you can step back amongst those individuals and not be pushed to become what you were before. Let's begin today in Luke chapter 11, and we're going to read verses 1 through 28. Luke chapter 11 and verses 1 through 28.
Verse 1. And it came to pass that as he was praying in a certain place, when he ceased, one of his disciples said unto him, Adonai, teach us to pray, as Johanan also taught his disciples. And he said unto them, When you pray, say, Our Father which art in heaven.
Okay, the first thing you want to do is set who it is you are praying to. A lot of people just say stuff when you're talking about God. Understand, in this book it says there are gods many, there are lords many. So who are you talking to? The first thing you need to do is set forth who you are talking to. The same thing that you do in regular conversation. You don't just call out things. If you go to a school and just say teacher, 50 people may turn around. You need to say and pinpoint exactly who it is you're talking to. Because the last thing you want is for the adversary, the devil, to answer your prayer. Because do understand, he's a God too. So you may want to be careful with that generic God stuff. Go ahead.
Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so in earth.
So we understand that the things that are set forth for us to do here on earth were already put in place in heaven. This is why we can't just change things based upon what we think, feel, believe, like, and dislike. Those things are already in heaven. You don't get to alter those. The foundations are already there. When we read in the book of Job and it's talking about these angels, there came a time when all the sons of Elohim came to present themselves, and Lucifer, Satan, came also. So we see that they don't have to abide by things that are written on earth. That's for man. So you see that they are making an appearance just like we just did not too long ago. And we can read that there were 2 appearances in the book of Job, and Lucifer showed up back to back. The same way we get into Leviticus and we find out that there are 3 holy days in the year that man must make an appearance. The same things that are written in heaven are written in the earth. Go ahead.
Verse 3. Give us day by day our daily bread, and forgive us our sins, for we also forgive everyone that is in debt to us.
Right. Now, this also gives us an example of how we're supposed to deal with things. See, a lot of us, we want to be forgiven, and we ask the Most High for forgiveness when we do something wrong. But do we have that same thing when somebody else does something wrong? Are we just ready to go ahead and condemn them, throw them in the lake of fire, but then at the same time, we ask Yahweh, forgive me for I've sinned? Well, what about this person? Should they get forgiveness the same way that you're asking for it? Go ahead.
And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. And he said unto them, Which of you shall have a friend, and shall go unto him at midnight, and say unto him, Friend, lend me 3 loaves? For a friend of mine in his journey is come to me, and I have nothing to set before him.
Now, this is, which one of you shall have a friend and shall have need, and ask your friend? Now, some people, this would be an issue because they can't have a friend who has a friend. See, some people got to be the everything in the scenario, and that's not how things are supposed to be. Go ahead.
And he from within shall answer and say, Trouble me not. The door is now shut, and my children are with me in bed. I cannot rise and give you.
It's inconvenient to me. Go ahead.
I say unto you, though he will not rise and give him, because he is his friend, yet because of his importunity, he will rise and give him as many as he needeth. And I say unto you, Ask, and it shall be given you. Seek, and you shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you.
Right. So if he's a friend, he will be inconvenienced even to help his friend deal with another friend. Go ahead.
For everyone that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be opened. If a son shall ask bread of any of you that is a father, will he give him a stone? Or if he ask a fish, will he for a fish give him a serpent? Or if he shall ask an egg, will he offer him a scorpion? If you then, being evil, know how to give good gifts unto your children, how much more shall your heavenly Father give the Holy Spirit to them that ask him? And he was casting out a devil, and it was dumb. And it came to pass, when the devil was gone out, the dumb spake, and the people wondered. But some of them said, He cast out devils through Beelzebub, the chief of the devils. And others, tempting him, sought of him a sign from heaven. But he, knowing their thoughts, said unto them, Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and a house divided against a house falleth.
A house divided against a house falls. So this is part of the thing that Israel has had a problem with from the beginning. Being divided against itself. Go ahead.
If Satan also be divided against himself, how shall his kingdom stand? Because you say that I cast out devils through Beelzebub.
See, understand something about the adversary. All he wants to do is cause separation with the things that Yahweh has. So making many different denominations and different things, they all serve the same purpose. See, they don't necessarily have to fight one another. They don't have to do all of that. What he wants them to do is to get further and further from Yahweh. So some people will see the many different denominations or the even the many different groups of Hebrew Israelites and just get discouraged. That's what the adversary wants. So a lot of times he'll throw many opportunities because some people, the more choices they have, the less they can do. It was always real easy to pick what was on television when we had 5 channels. 2, 5, 11, 17, 36, and 46. That's it. And if you stayed up too late, you get that snow. Shh, you go sleep and you wake up and the TV it's just black and white dots. Shh. That's what happened. Not no more. You fall asleep with the TV on, ain't no telling what's gonna be on when you wake up. Because if you looking at the wrong channel, they play different kind of stuff at a different time of night. You could be watching the cartoon channel. It's some cartoons that ain't quite right. You can go to sleep at 10 o'clock on chat with cartoons on. Wake up at 2 o'clock and them cartoons ain't fit for no children. None whatsoever. And it's the cartoon channel now. But because there's so many choices, sometimes people can never figure out what to watch because they got to go through all 300-400 channels before they make a decision. Whatever it is you were trying to watch is off now. That took you that long just to figure out what. So the adversary, believe you me, there's a method to the madness of giving you too many choices for you to figure out. Go ahead.
Luke chapter 11 and verse 19. And if I by Beelzebub cast out devils, by whom do your sons cast them out? Therefore shall they be your judges. But if I with the finger of Elohim cast out devils, no doubt the kingdom of Elohim is come upon you. When a strong man armed keeps his palace, his goods are in peace. But when a stronger than he shall come upon him and overcome him, he taketh from him all his armor wherein he trusted, and divideth his spoils. He that is not with me is against me, and he that gathereth not with me scattereth. When the unclean spirit is gone out of a man, he walketh through dry places, seeking rest, and finding none.
All right, so if you deal with this situation, you have this baptism. Yeshua is the one standing at the door. You go through this door when the unclean spirit is gone out of a man. He walketh through dry places, seeking rest and finding none. Go ahead.
He saith, I'll return unto my house whence I came out. And when he cometh, he findeth swept and garnished.
Right. So the unclean spirit is gone. This man has been born again. And now the unclean spirit is returning back to the same man that it left. And now it says it finds you, his old house, swept and clean. Go ahead.
Then goeth he, and taketh to him 7 other spirits more wicked than himself, and they enter in, and dwell there. And the last state of that man is worse than the first.
So now the baptized individual is worse than they were before, because the spirit, the heart, was not guarded. The same evil spirit that left came and brought 7 of his wicked friends. So now they got a little demon party going on inside of there. So now the second state is worse than the first. Go ahead.
And it came to pass, as he spake these things, a certain woman of company lifted up her voice, and said unto him, Blessed is the womb that bare you, and the paps which you have sucked. But he said, Yea, rather, blessed are they that hear the word of Elohim, and keep it.
Right. What they tried to do is to do this natural thing. Okay. Blessed, a certain woman of the company lifted up her voice and said unto him, Blessed is the womb that bare you. You got all of these people that deal with this Mary worship, and they deal with all of these things. They want to say, oh, this woman that bare you, she was so blessed. Yeshua took that and went on a whole nother level. No, yea, rather, blessed are they that hear the word and keep it. See, hearing the word is one thing. Walking in it is something altogether different. Let's go to Matthew chapter 20. Matthew chapter 20, and we're going to read verses 1 through 16. See, we have to consider that as Yahweh was bringing our people out of Egypt, it was only 11 days journey of where they went. And they ended up out there 40 years. Each one of those things were to prepare them for what they were about to have. See, it's a very strange situation to have a servant come to the point where they then bear rule. So something has to be taught to them so that they can learn how to lead. You take a bunch of people and put them on welfare and have them given everything. Then you turn around and snatch away the welfare, which is, there's a reason why it was called the projects. It was a project. The project was to see if they can hold us back. And it worked, because project mamas had project children who became project mamas who had project children, and it had a direction. They said and set forth the foundation. Okay, we'll help you. We'll give you a house. But you can't have no man. That automatically make the worth of the man go down in the black neighborhood. Their project worked, and our families are still suffering for it because of those things to this day. And once you get a process going, you can step back. The process take care of itself. You ain't got to keep rolling the ball down the hill. All you got to do is push it. Once you push it, you step back. It gonna keep rolling on its own. And that's what, once they put the stuff in motion, they just step back. We did everything else, and following it, letting it roll, go on, and it goes from generation to generation until somebody decides, I'm going to change my life. I am not going to live like this. Go ahead.
Matthew chapter 20 and verse 1. For the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is an householder, which went out early in the morning to hire laborers into his vineyard. And when he had agreed with the laborers for a penny a day, he sent them into his vineyard. And he went out about the 3rd hour and saw others standing idle in the marketplace.
Right. Now, first thing, he had agreed with the laborers for a penny a day. They have agreed this is the amount that we're going to get for this work. Go ahead.
And said unto them, Go you also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right I will give you. And they went their way.
Right. He said unto them, you go ahead and work too. Now, the first thing, understand, he went out about the 3rd hour of the day and saw others standing idle in the marketplace. And he said unto them, Go you into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right, I will give you. And they went their way. Now, the pay for a whole day is a penny. Go ahead.
Verse 5. Again he went out about the 6th and 9th hour, and did likewise. And about the 11th hour he went out, and found others standing idle, and saith unto them, Why stand you here all day idle? And they say unto him, Because no man has hired us. He saith unto them, Go you also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right, that shall you receive.
Right. So he's making this agreement with them. Whatsoever is right, that you shall receive. But he's doing a good deed here. He's asking them first of all, why y'all not working? It's, man, ain't nobody hired us. That's why we standing out here. See, a lot of times, people, disconnect themselves from the things that are written in this book. All you gotta do is drive to the Home Depot in the morning. You see them brothers standing out? It's the same thing that's written in here. Same thing. So he sees these brothers out here, ask them why they're not working. They said nobody has hired us. Well, you come on. Now, understand now, this is the 11th hour of the day now. But he still says, whatsoever is right, that's what I'll give you. Go ahead.
Verse 8. So when evening was come, the master of the vineyard saith unto his steward, Call the laborers, and give them their hire, beginning from the last unto the first. And when they came that were hired about the 11th hour, they received every man a penny.
Now, he said, whatsoever is right, that's that will I give you. He's giving them a whole day's pay, but they haven't worked the whole day. Now, this was righteous on his part. This was generous on his part to help these other people. But it's like that thing that they say, no good deed goes unpunished. Go ahead.
But when the first came, they supposed that they should have received more.
Right. Why? They suppose they should have received more. Because they said, wait a minute now, you agreed with us for a penny, right? But we worked longer than them. And you gave them a penny. Go ahead.
Even with the ones that came after the first, they never agreed to an amount. They just went to work.
Exactly. Exactly. Go ahead.
And they likewise received every man a penny. And when they had received it, they murmured against the good man of the house.
Now they got issues. Now there's some schism because he paid everybody the same thing. See? Go ahead.
Saying, These last have wrought but 1 hour, and you have made them equal unto us.
See, this is what the issue is. Now you making them equal unto us. So you can't do good unto everybody. See? You only do good unto us. So you ain't supposed to do good unto them. They ain't worked but 1 hour, man. But this is man money. Go ahead.
Which have borne the burden and heat of the day.
Uh-huh.
But he answered one of them and said, Friend, I do you no wrong. Did you not agree with me for a penny?
Did I break the covenant between you and I? I did not break the covenant between you and I. Because I paid this man a full day, that don't mean I broke the covenant with you. Did I pay you what I said I was going to pay you? Then I kept my covenant. See, when you start reading in this book and it starts talking about, it says, suddenly lay no hands on any man. There's a covenant of peace between two individuals automatically. Unless that covenant of peace is broken by something, then we're supposed to walk in peace with one another. This book says, walk in peace with all men as much as lieth in you. So as much as it is possible, then you try to be peaceful. See, I was talking to my childhood friend the other day, and I was telling him for a long time I had to stop carrying my pistol. Because when I first got 21, I went and got me a pistol permit, and I had my little pistol all on me. And I said, you gotta be careful when you're young with a pistol. It make you bolder than you are without that pistol. You get your chest stick out a little further than it normally stick out when you carry around that pistol. So I had to learn to leave it at the house for a long period of time so I could calm down. See, if you walk in righteousness, even though you got this, or you feel like if I get into an altercation with this man, I can whoop him. do you still try to get out the altercation? Or you let the altercation go because you think you can whoop him? Or what happens when you get to somebody you can't whoop? See, if you walking in righteousness, you going to operate the same way with the big dude as you do with the pocket protector dude. You're going to try to talk him out of the situation as well. Go ahead.
Verse 14. Take that thine is, and go your way. I will give on to this last, even as on to you.
I'm going to be fair. I'm going to be a good friend to them and a good friend to you. I'm not being a bad friend to you because I'm being a good friend to them. I haven't done you any wrong because I decided to give them the pay for a whole day. I didn't take your money to give to them. See, this is where it gets wrong at. See, if I don't agree with you for $10, Eli L come and work 1 hour, I go ahead and get him some money, but I gave you 8. Wait a minute. How you did you take some of my money to get him? No, I didn't take none. I used my own money to pay him. I still gave you everything that I promised you. Go ahead.
Is it not lawful for me to do what I will with mine own? Is your eye evil because I'm good? So the last shall be first, and the first last. For many be called, but few chosen.
He said, is your eye evil because I am good? So as I make this step to do good, does that then make a problem between you and I? Let's go to Luke chapter 15. See, what I keep telling people is dealing with this book. It is much deeper than people could ever imagine. Israel didn't just jump out and become a nation. We were a family first that grew and evolved into a nation. All of these things have to be dealt with. See, it was a reason for Israel to receive a law. You receive a law because you're about to get a land. You cannot govern yourself based on what you think, feel, and believe. All of us think something. All of us feel something. All of us believe something. What make the way you feel better than the way he feel? What make what I feel better than what he feel? What I'm going to say? Well, I've been in the word longer, so my feelings count more than his. What I'm going to do? What? So now we're going to word age this thing? Well, since I've been in the word longer, what I think matter more than what he think. When we go by what's written, we can take out what we think, feel, and believe. Because I feel very strongly about what I believe. He feels very strongly about what he believes. So then, what's going to be the deciding factor? The book. This is going to be the deciding factor. See, this thing governs not only how we deal in our worship practices, this deals how we deal with one another in our friendships. This governs how we deal with one another in our business. This says if we loan money to one another, we're not supposed to loan money on interest to one another. We can loan to somebody else in interest, but we can't loan to one another with interest. See, a lot of people don't know that there's a certain way you have to deal with your brother when it comes down to these certain things. See, you need to know that this book governs if you even borrow something from your brother. If that thing breaks, you might be responsible for that. So you don't just take everything that people offer you. You need to start looking at, wait a minute, bro, I don't think I can pay for this. Hold on. We need to talk. We need to have a conversation. Now, when the last time you checked the oil on this thing? Well, let me see how you crank it up. All right, how you keep it going? Okay, what happened if it shut off? Did you just cut it right off? People don't have no question. They just get it and just go, no, we got to have a conversation about this thing. Because I need to know what's going to happen if this thing break down while I got it. See, I need to know what the various parts of this covenant before we make this agreement. See, a lot of people just agree. You don't agree to things without asking some questions. When people ask that question, promise me you're going to do me this favor. What's the favor? Just promise me you're going to do it. Brother, that's not even a righteous question. That's not even right. We can't even enter this. We just need to stop now. I tell you what, when you get serious, call me, man. I'm going to be over here watching TV. Because I can't even answer nothing. How you going to ask me to promise something, but you ain't told me what it is? See, that's a fool question right there. That's a fool. And if you answer that, you have played the role of the fool. You can't agree to nothing and you don't know what it is. Go ahead.
Luke chapter 15 and verse 11. And he said, a certain man had 2 sons. And the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of the goods that falleth to me. And he divided unto them his living. And not many days after, the younger son gathered all together, and took his journey into a far country, and there wasted his substance with riotous living. And when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in that land, and he began to be in want. And he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country, and he sent him into his fields to feed swine.
He sent him into the fields to feed swine. What people don't understand is swine have a purpose. Swine will eat anything. They are perfect for cleaning off a field, cleaning trash. They will eat anything and nothing makes them sick. Tomorrow, 4th of July, right? They finna suck down so much swine. What is it, Monday? They finna suck down so much swine Monday. I mean, boy, it's finna be swine in the air, Jack. Folk love that filthy swine, and the first thing they do when they get old enough and they go to the doctor, the first thing they tell them, you need to stop eating that pork. I could have told you to stop eating pork, because it's in this book. It says it is a filthy beast. It has a purpose. That purpose is not for us to eat. The little ugly fish that's in this fish tank, it's got a purpose. It eat all the poop in the fish tank. Its job is to clean the fish tank. Okay? What you think happen if you eat the poop fish? You start getting sick. You ain't supposed to eat the poop fish. He has a job. His job is to clean the fish tank. That's what shrimp, crab legs, all the lobster, they clean the sea. They eat poop. That's their job, to eat the filth out of the sea. What people do, they make a delicatessen out of all the poop eaters. Say, oh, this is a delicacy. No, that's a poop eater. That's what that is. Now, even the clean fish are becoming dirty because people are eating all the stuff that's supposed to clean the ocean. See, when the children of Israel come into power, there are some things that have to be set right and in order. And this is one of them. What people eat. We can't have things set up where I went to a store over here, this H Mart, and they had everything. I mean, you see little baby seahorses and all kind of, you're like, man, people eat this stuff. See, once the righteous get in power, all that stuff ain't even an option. Say, hey, man, you can't have this out here, man. Ain't nobody eating this. When Nehemiah got ready to go back and set forth righteousness in the land, they start telling the people, hey, man, you lodge about this wall one more time on the Sabbath day with stuff getting ready to sell to my people, and I'm going to lay hands on you. Sometimes you got to force Israel to do right. Say, look at, man, don't come around here, man. We're not buying on the Sabbath day. So if you come around here again, we're going to do something to you. These people that have been in the land since 1948, talking about their Israel, they got some of the most foul stuff going on in Israel that you can ever imagine. They haven't cleansed one thing since 1948. Matter of fact, it has gotten worse. True Israel has a job to do. So don't think we're going to go around and we're going to party and have all these Israelite pep rallies. You got a job to do. All of this stuff, there's an order that's supposed to be set. All that has to be set forth in the land and then spread out to the rest of the earth. Go ahead.
Verse 16. And he would fain have filled his belly with the husk that the swine did eat, and no man gave unto him.
Okay, with the husk that the swine eat, not the swine. He wasn't trying to feast on no baby backs. All right? So don't get, because, hey, people will take this and twist it all out. You see that? He was going to eat some, he was going to get some of them ribs. No, that ain't what it said. That ain't what it said, Pastor. Pastor, bag it up. Because there's going to be many pastors that's finna suck down some pork come Monday. They buying slabs of ribs. And Yahweh has already told us what animals are clean and what animals are unclean. These animals are good for what they're good for. They have a purpose. If you take one thing out of Yahweh's ecosystem, it affects about 20 things. You don't get to just remove the bees. All right, we don't eat them, so just take out the bees. Man, you know how many problems you just caused? It's finna be a landslide of problems because you took one thing out of the atmosphere. Just because it's there don't mean it was there for you to eat. Go ahead.
And when he came to himself, he said, how many hired servants of my father's have bread enough and to spare, and I perish with hunger? I will arise and go to my father, and will say unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you, and I am no more worthy to be called your son. Make me as one of your hired servants. And he arose and came to his father. But when he was yet a great way off, his father saw him, and had compassion, and ran, and fell on his neck, and kissed him. And the son said unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven, and in your sight, and am no more worthy to be called your son. But the father said to his servants, Bring forth the best robe, and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand, and shoes on his feet. And bring hither the fatted calf, and kill it, and let us eat, and be merry. For this my son was dead, and is alive again. He was lost, and is found. And they began to be merry.
Right, so he is rejoicing over that this son who was once spiritually dead, who went and took all his inheritance and wasted it with riotous living, and now has to go back and ask for a job. Whereas what he had before was more than a job. Go ahead.
Now his elder son was in the field, and as he came and drew near to the house, he heard music and dancing. And he called one of the servants and asked what these things meant. And he said unto him, Your brother is come, and your father had killed the fatted calf, because he had received him safe and sound. And he was angry and would not go in. Therefore came his father out and entreated him. And he answering said to his father, Lo, these many years do I serve you, neither transgressed I at any time your commandment. And yet you never gave me a kid, that I might make merry with my friends.
So now we got jealousy and envy that done popped in because the father is being merciful to his lost child. As it is written, which one of you having 100 sheep don't leave the 99 if one of them get lost? Don't leave the 99 and go look for the one that got lost. So here he is making a marriage situation because the lost friend, the lost son is now found. But the brother got a problem with that. Go ahead.
But as soon as this your son is come,
you learn how to hear indignation. This your son. Oh, here come your son. Soon as this your son has come, now you got a little party going on. Right? You can hear indignation. You can hear, I call it minty freshness. So you can hear the minty freshness. You can hear when people talk. If they got an issue with you, because they'll talk with minty freshness. See, we learned that corporate America down talk. See, it used to be a point if we had an issue, we dealt with one another face to face. Corporate America has taught us otherwise. See, corporate America done told you how to insult people with a smile. I don't think you have what it takes to do it. Now why you going to insult that? Why you going to insult that man like that? Right. But see, corporate America got a thing. It's a process. Insult and then smile. See? Insult, then smile. See, throw people out for a second. See? And corporate America, they think they're so intelligent that they can insult you and you ain't got sense enough to know you've been insulted. What did she just insult me? What? By that time, she gone. She threw you off with the smile. She gone. She halfway down the hall now. So if you run after her, now it's going to look like you the aggressor. See? Yeah, that's that little game we learned from corporate America. What we need to do is leave corporate America at corporate America. Go ahead.
Which has devoured your living with harlots. You have killed for him the fatted calf. And he said unto him, Son, you are ever with me, and all that I have is yours.
All that, he done already wasted his inheritance, so everything that's left is yours. What you whining for? Go ahead.
it was meet that we should make merry and be glad. For this your brother was dead, and is alive again, and was lost, and is found.
Right. He has been resurrected in the spiritual sense. He was dead. Now he is alive. It is fitting that we make this a merry occasion. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 27. Proverbs 27, and we're going to read verses 1 through 17.
Verse 1. Boast not yourselves of tomorrow, for you knoweth not what a day may bring forth. Let another man praise you, and not your own mouth, a stranger, and not your own lips. A stone is heavy, and the sand weighty, but a fool's anger is heavier than them both. Wrath is cruel, and anger is outrageous, but who is able to stand before envy? Open rebuke is better than secret love. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful. The full soul loatheth an honeycomb, but to the hungry soul, every bitter thing is sweet. As a bird that wandereth from her nest, so is a man that wandereth from his place. Ointment and perfume rejoice the heart, so does the sweetness of a man's friend by hearty counsel. Your own friend and your father's friend forsake not, neither go into your brother's house in the day of your calamity, for better is a neighbor that is near than a brother far off. My son, be wise, and make my heart glad, that I may answer him that reproacheth me. A prudent man foreseeth the evil, and hideth himself, but the simple pass on, and are punished.
It says a prudent man, a man of understanding, sees the evil coming and hides himself. He separateth himself because he sees that this is a problematic situation. But the simple pass on and are punished. It takes time and a little wisdom to start seeing situations. A lot of times people don't see situations until they hit them. But it comes after so much of going through things, you start to look and say, okay, this looks like it's going to be a problem. Now, if you just keep walking yourself right into that, after you have understanding, that's your fault. I mean, I grab a fork and stick it in that socket, and it knocked me over there. Okay, that's stupid. That's stupid. I count, charge that to the game. Stupid. Stupid 1, sock 0. Okay. If I go back over there and do it again, hey, bro, that's my fault. I already saw what they were gonna do. Why you do it again? That's what we do in even in relationships and situations. We want to do things over and over and over. We do the same thing. This time it's gonna be different. No, really it's not. If I stick that fork in that socket, the same thing gonna happen. A big pow gonna happen, and they're gonna throw me across that wall. Now, it might hold me there and fry me to death. Why would you keep trying the same thing and expecting a different result? You keep doing the same thing, you're gonna get the same result. At least change the manner in which you do it. You can't do the same thing and expect a different result. That is the definition of insanity. Go ahead.
Verse 13. Take his garment that is surety for a stranger, and take a pledge of him for a strange woman. He that blesseth his friend with a loud voice, rising early in the morning, it shall be counted a curse to him. A continual dropping in a very rainy day, and a contentious woman are alike. Whosoever hideth her, hideth the wind, and the ointment of his right hand, which bewrayeth itself. Iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend.
Right. For us to get stronger, there has to be a some kind of opposition that we end up facing that is as strong as we are. See, we want to grow and we want to do great things, but ain't nobody ever got muscles and got built lifting a bunch of paper. You got to be some weight on the end of that bar for you to get stronger. Iron sharpen iron. For us to even grow in righteousness, that we have to encounter some situations. And there's some situations that we don't want to be in. Yet, it's growth that comes from the, going through of that situation. You ain't just going to grow just because, okay, I got baptized, and now I'm just going to be better. There's going to be some situation and circumstance that's going to make you better. That's going to make you look at that inner man. See, this book is more than just words on this paper. After you read these words on this paper, that book is going to come alive in your heart, and them situations going to come to you. Now, how you going to deal with it? Go ahead.
That was it.
That was it right there? Mm-hmm. Let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 18. We have to remember, do understand that Yahweh will test each and every last one of us. It's not about provoking someone to sin. Yahweh will test each and every last one of us. He said, I'm going to lead these Canaanites, some of these people among you, to see whether or not you will serve me or not. Because Israel has a tendency that we kind of do whatever the people do who we hang around. We hang around killers, we're going to kill a few people. We hang around dope dealers, we're going to sell a little dope. We hang around, whoever we hang around, we take a little bit of their foulness and we exercise ourselves in it. So Yahweh said, I'm going to leave a few of them people amongst you. Because I'm going to see whether or not you going to serve me or not. Understand? He turned around and sent one of the patriarchs. We talking founding fathers. Go up there and sacrifice that boy. Wait a minute. Now you just gave me all these promises about this boy. You told me that this the boy, the seed gonna be counted in this boy. Yeah. I know. Go up there and kill him. And when he got all the way down to the wire, he told him, all right, man, now I know you gonna serve me. You are my friend. Now, I'm finna open up all the rest of this stuff to you. See, there's some things that haven't been opened up for us because we won't go all the way down to the wire for Yahweh. We'll go all the way down to the wire for some of our heathen friends and then half do what we're supposed to do for Yahweh. That's the problem. 1 Samuel chapter 18, let's start that at verse 1.
And it came to pass, when he had made an end of speaking unto Saul, that the soul of Jonathan was knit with the soul of David. And Jonathan loved him as his own soul. And Saul took him that day, and would let him go no more home to his father's house. Then Jonathan and David made a covenant, because he loved him as his own soul. And Jonathan stripped himself of the robe that was upon him, and gave it to David, and his garments, even to his sword, and to his bow, and to his girdle. And David went out whithersoever Saul sent him, and behaved himself wisely. And Saul set him over the men of war, and he was accepted in the sight of all the people, and also in the sight of Saul's servants. Mm-hmm. And it came to pass, as they came, when David was returned from the slaughter of the Philistines, that the women came out of all cities of Israel, singing and dancing to meet King Saul, with tabrets, with joy, and with instruments of music. And the women answered one to another as they played, and said, Saul has slain his thousands, and David his 10,000s.
Now, this right here is all it takes to cause a schism between two people who are once friends, and David was a plus to Saul. He helped him look better in running this kingdom. But now you got a problem because the women are saying 10,000s unto David and thousands unto Saul. Now here comes the problem. Go ahead.
And Saul was very angry, and the saying displeased him. And he said, they have ascribed unto David 10,000s, and to me they have ascribed but thousands.
All right, check. Who's the problem with then? They. That's the subject of this sentence. They have ascribed unto David 10,000s. But look who he gives the hail to. He don't go to they who was singing. Go ahead.
And what can he have more but the kingdom? And Saul eyed David from that day and forward.
Right, you done been eyed before. Somebody just looking at you. Why are you looking at me like that? Mm-hmm. Now he eyeing David. What are you looking at me for? You got a problem with them women singing them songs? How about go talk to them women that were singing them songs? What are you looking at me for? I ain't make them sing the song. He ain't like the lyrics of the song. So now you got a problem with him. See, sometimes you have to pinpoint. It says, whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause is in danger of judgment. Sometimes you have to pause and produce your cause. Produce your cause. What are you angry about? But that right there ain't got nothing to do with me. I didn't write the song and tell them to sing it. They sung the song. How about go deal with them women? Go ahead.
And it came to pass on the morrow that the evil spirit from Elohim came upon Saul.
Now I wonder why. I wonder why the evil spirit found a house inside him. See, sometimes you can open the door to the adversary. See, you don't know you're opening the door. You might well just get you a little picket sign and say, devil, come here. It's an open house, open door. Come on in here, evil spirits. Dwell with me. I'm open. You have to wonder, how the evil spirit know to show up? Right. There are things that you can do. Understand, it says that we have to be careful how we keep our things, because if our things are filthy, we may cause the spirit of Elohim to not be comfortable around us. So there are things that you can do that will welcome the spirit, and there are things that you can do to run the spirit off. So likewise, there are things that you can do to run the adversary away, and there are things that you can do to invite the adversary. Go ahead.
And he prophesied in the midst of the house. And David played with his hand, as at other times, and there was a javelin in Saul's hand.
Now, normally, the evil spirit come upon Saul, David play, the evil spirit is soothed, and Saul is better. Go ahead.
And Saul cast the javelin, for he said, I'll smite David even to the wall with it. And David avoided out of his presence twice.
So now, playing the music ain't even helping him. So now, his anger has gone to another level now. Go ahead.
And Saul was afraid of David because Yahweh was with him and was departed from Saul.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore Saul removed him from him and made him his captain over 1,000.
Okay, so he got demoted. He lost his job. Now he got demoted because he was afraid of him. Go ahead.
And he went out and came in before the people. And David behaved himself wisely in all his ways, and Yahweh was with him.
Now, here's the thing about when Yahweh allows certain things to happen. It really seems like, the people are doing it for whatever reason they're doing to get at you. But Yahweh going to use everything to build you and make you stronger. What he did was then put David even closer to the people. Now he's afraid of the man, and he demoting the man, and he doing all of this because he's angry, but his angry move helps David even more. I told people, stop being angry at everything that happened to you. There's some things that you really just don't understand right now. And you might be fighting Yahweh, and he's letting certain things happen to you for growth reasons that will make sense later. But our problem is we want to understand everything right now. We want to have everything right now. We need to know the ending before we begin. That's not how this works. Go ahead.
You know, brother, even that anger can block that understanding that you wish you have, because
Of course.
he's so angry that he don't hear the music anymore.
Right. Go ahead.
Verse 15. Wherefore when Saul saw that he behaved himself very wisely, he was afraid of him.
Demote the man. He still does what he's supposed to do. Go ahead.
But all Israel and Yehuda loved him, because he went out and came in before them. And Saul said to David, Behold my eldest daughter, Merab. Her will I give you to wife. Only be you valiant for me, and fight Yahweh's battles. For Saul said, Let not my hand be upon him, but let the hand of the Philistines be upon him. And David said unto Saul, Who am I? And what is my life, or my father's family in Israel, that I should be son-in-law to the king? But it came to pass at the time when Merab, Saul's daughter, should have been given to David, that she was given unto Adriel the Meholethite to wife.
Right. And this in itself could be a major problem in Israel if this woman was betrothed unto one man but then married another man. That means she was engaged to David, but yet she married somebody else. Go ahead.
And Michal, Saul's daughter, loved David. And they told Saul, and the thing pleased him. And Saul said, I will give him her, that she may be a snare to him, and that the hand of the Philistines may be against him. Wherefore Saul said to David, You shall this day be my son-in-law and the one of the two. And Saul commanded his servants, saying, Commune with David secretly, and say, Behold, the king has delight in you, and all his servants love you. Now therefore be the king's son-in-law. And Saul's servants spake those words in the ears of David, and David said, Seemeth it you a light thing to be a king's son-in-law, seeing that I am a poor man and lightly esteemed? And the servants of Saul told him the saying, On this manner spake David. And Saul said, Thus shall you say to David, The king desireth not any dowry, but 100 foreskins of the Philistines, to be avenged of the king's enemies.
Right. And Saul said, verse 25, This shall you say to David, the king desireth not any dowry, but 100 foreskins of the Philistines. He's hoping he'll get killed by trying to do this impossible act. This also tells you how backwards things are in the daughter of Babylon. It says the king desires not any dowry. If a man was to go and marry a woman, then he goes and offer unto that father a dowry, a gift. Here, they got everything so twisted that the father of the woman's supposed to pay for the wedding. That's some daughter of Babylon stuff right there. That ain't right. See, and people don't know that. See, people have gotten used to these things, and because of these commercials, we think, hey, you supposed to give a woman a diamond ring. It was a company came up with all of that. This is their thing. So now people got that believing that this is how things were supposed to go. When you read about these brothers getting married and these brothers and sisters getting married, you can't find nowhere where these people getting down on their knees, begging somebody to do something. But see, that daughter of Babylon got you thinking this is where it's supposed to go. If he don't get down on his knees and give me a ring, then he really don't love me. Uh-oh. Now see, this is part of that being born again. Are you going to be strong enough to let that go? See? Because see, some people were like, okay, I deal with this part, but I ain't going to deal with this part here. He still got to get on his knees. No, he loved this. If you like it, put a ring on it. If you like it, then you should have put a ring on it. Right. See, they're going to accept part of the word. See, that's how some people do. They accept part of the word, but then this other part, I got a problem with. Now, I ain't letting that go because I need that ring. I need that ring, and I need to see you on your knees, too. Because I got to tell everybody about it. Everybody. Right. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's also part of goddess worship. And,
right.
You were touching earlier about the worship of when they went to Yahshua, and so it will bless the womb that bear you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what they don't even realize with the Catholic Church, the Pope himself bows down and kisses the feet of the Black Madonna.
Mm-hmm. It ain't nothing for them to do. They worship Diana and they put Mary in the goddess Diana place. They into that goddess worship. So people don't know that this whole setup is goddess worship. For you getting down on your knees. Man, you don't read none of the patriarchs doing that? Yeah, boy, this ain't going to be very popular with sisters right here. They're not going to like this one. What thus says Yahweh? You want to be angry at somebody? Call Yahweh up. Text him. Do whatever that is y'all do. Put it on Facebook. Tell him how angry you are with him. Tell him. Because it ain't mine. This is his word. Go ahead.
But Saul thought to make David fall by the hand of the Philistines. Verse 26. And when his servants told David these words, it pleased David well to be the king's son-in-law, and the days were not expired. Wherefore David arose and went, he and his men, and slew of the Philistines 200 men. And David brought their foreskins, and they gave them in full tale to the king, that he might be the king's son-in-law. And Saul gave him Michal his daughter to wife. And Saul saw and knew that Yahweh was with David, and that Michal, Saul's daughter, loved him.
Right. People have no choice but to see that Yahweh is with you. When they come against you, they set devices in order, and none of it kills you. Doesn't mean you won't slip and fall and some things might happen, but they ain't got no choice but to know that Yahweh is with you when none of it overtakes you. They have no choice but to understand Yahweh with him, Yahweh with her. Go ahead.
And Saul was yet the more afraid of David, and Saul became David's enemy continually.
Right, he can't be part-time enemy no more. He had to go ahead and clock in full-time enemy. Because he been part-time enemy before. Enemy one part, friend the next. A little bit of frenemy. Now, full-time enemy. Go ahead.
Then the princes of the Philistines went forth. And it came to pass, after they went forth, that David behaved himself more wisely than all the servants of Saul, so that his name was much set by.
But you see, the part of this is behaving yourself wisely, even though certain situations are against you and might not be in your favor. It's not about what happens to you. It's about how you handle what happens to you. If somebody do something, do that give you the right to act all kind of faux monkey fools? And then here come your excuse, well, they said such and such. Yeah, but you going to jail. Because you done acted a plumb monkey fool up in here. That ain't no excuse for you to do all the stuff that you just did. But see, we'll use those things as justification and excuses for going outside of what thus says Yahweh. I mean, anybody will do something to protect their family. Half the isms and schisms we got, it ain't about protecting our family. It's about protecting our feelings. Go ahead.
Chapter 19 and verse 1. And Saul spake to Jonathan his son, and to all his servants, that they should kill David. But Jonathan, Saul's son, delighted much in David. And Jonathan told David, saying, Saul my father seeketh to kill you. Now therefore, I pray you, take heed to yourself until the morning, and abide in a secret place, and hide yourself.
And this is what happens when the anger and envy now has turned to a point where now this man's life is really in danger. See? Nowadays, we just, murder people's character or say something mean about them on Facebook. Now, this anger has turned to the point where this man's life is now in danger physically. Go ahead.
And I'll go out and stand beside my father in the field where you are, and I'll commune with my father of you. And what I see, that I will tell you. And Jonathan spake good of David unto Saul his father, and said unto him, Let not the king sin against his servant against David, because he has not sinned against you, and because his work have been to you word very good.
Right. But he doing a good thing. He trying to talk his dad out of, what he into. But you'll find that when some people are already in the fifth gear stupid, you can't slow them down. You can't slow them down at all. They don't want to be slowed down. Go ahead.
For he did put his life in his hand, and slew the Philistine, And Yahweh wrought a great salvation for all Israel. You saw it, and did rejoice. Wherefore then will you sin against innocent blood, to slay David without a cause? And Saul hearkened unto the voice of Jonathan, and Saul sware, as Yahweh liveth, he shall not be slain. And Jonathan called David, and Jonathan showed him all those things. And Jonathan brought David to Saul, and he was in his presence, as in times past. And there was war again, and David went out, and fought with the Philistines, and slew them with a great slaughter, and they fled from him. And the evil spirit from Yahweh was upon Saul, as he sat in his house with his javelin in his hand, and David played with his hand.
Now, you know, it'd be very hard for me to play that harp, man. I keep seeing him with that javelin, especially after he been known to throw this thing, you know what I'm saying? That part, I be playing that thing. Be like, hey, man, you playing this way? Nah, brother, I'm playing toward that javelin because I'm watching that thing everywhere that thing. I couldn't even concentrate on playing this instrument because I'm watching that. Every time, if somebody even bump into that javelin, I might be at the third row. But, oh, hey, bro, where you going? Hey, man, it fell down. I thought he was throwing it. I'm going to be watching this, Jack. You can believe that. Go ahead.
Verse 10. And Saul sought to smite David even to the wall with the javelin, but he slipped away out of Saul's presence, and he smote the javelin into the wall. And David fled and escaped that night. Saul also sent messengers unto David's house to watch him and to slay him in the morning.
You remember after the elder died, they appointed the deacons at the last place to come and watch me. I used to go out in the parking lot, and I'd be talking to people, and it'll be people just sitting there, just looking out. Hey, man, what y'all looking at me for, man? Come to figure out, they had got appointed to come and watch me to figure out everything that I was saying. Figure out everybody I was talking to. Not knowing that as they doing all of these things to try and hold me down, it is actually pushing me. They're actually doing what they're trying not to get me to do. This is how Yahweh works. So you let people do what they got to do. Everything that they do for wrong, gonna turn around and help you for right. Go ahead.
And Michal, David's wife, told him, saying, If you save not your life tonight, tomorrow you shall be slain. So Michal let David down through a window, and he went and fled and escaped. And Michal took an image and laid it in the bed, and put a pillow of goat's hair for his bolster, and covered it with a cloth. And when Saul sent messengers to take David, she said, He's sick. And Saul sent the messengers again to see David, saying, Bring him up to me in the bed, that I may slay him.
Now, he done told his son, ain't nothing, I ain't gonna kill him. And the son really want to believe it, But meanwhile, he said, hey, he already sick. It ought to be easy for me to kill him now. Go ahead.
And when the messengers were come in, behold, there was an image in the bed, with a pillow of goat's hair for his bolster. And Saul said unto Michal, Why have you deceived me so, and sent away mine enemy, that he's escaped? And Michal answered Saul, He said unto me, Let me go. Why should I kill you? So David fled and escaped, and came to Samuel to Ramah, and told him all that Saul had done to him. And he and Samuel went and dwelt in Naioth. And it was told Saul, saying, Behold, David is at Naioth in Ramah. And Saul sent messengers to take David. And when they saw the company of the prophets prophesying, and Samuel standing as appointed over them, the spirit of Elohim was upon the messengers of Saul, and they also prophesied.
Jump to chapter 20 and verse 1.
And David fled from Naioth in Ramah, and came and said before Jonathan, What have I done? What is mine iniquity? And what is my sin before your father, that he seeketh my life? And he said unto him, Elohim forbid, you shall not die. Behold, my father will do nothing, either great or small, but that he will show it me. And why should my father hide this thing from me? It is not so.
See, he want to believe. See, there's certain things that people just want to believe, even though all the signs point elsewhere. I tell people you can't separate your heart from your brain. You got to use your heart and your brain together. See, some people even go into their religious practices with all their heart, but none of their brain. So when you ask them, this is those people who will do anything without even understanding any of the foundation of it. You ask people, well, explain what you do. I don't know why I do it. I just know I just do it. Right. You got all these different denominations of Christianity. You have a Methodist here and a Baptist, and say, okay, you Methodist, you Baptist, explain to me the difference. Can't now one of them explain it. They don't know the difference. And they don't think they should even know. Because their brain ain't connected to their heart at all. But I tell you what, when it comes down to make business decisions, they don't make them decisions with just their heart. They do some reading and some study when they get ready to put their money down. Right. Go ahead.
1 Samuel chapter 20 and verse 3. And David sware moreover and said, Your father certainly knoweth that I have found grace in your eyes. And he saith, Let not Jonathan know this, lest he be grieved. But truly as Yahweh liveth, and as your soul liveth, there is but a step between me and death. Then said Jonathan unto David, Whatsoever your soul desireth, I will even do it for you. And David said unto Jonathan, Behold, tomorrow is the new moon, and I should not fail to sit with the king at meat. But let me go, that I may hide myself in the field unto the third day at evening.
Now, what day is new moon? Was it Monday night?
Monday night.
All right. The same new Yahweh has given us these things to keep our months, and we will be keeping our new moon Monday at sundown. This new moon is a new month. We don't go by. Yahweh has already put the things in the sky that governs our calendar system. We don't govern our calendar by what somebody put on the paper, because when all else fails and all the paper is gone, that sun and that moon still there. That moon goes through its cycles. You cannot see on that clock up there is a moon phase calendar right up under that. Now that shows you the phases of the moon. When that whole thing is empty, it is new moon. That means everything has already gone through its process, and then the earth, the moon, and the sun is lined up again. It is a cycle, and the same thing goes over and over, over and over. That alignment is what we call new moon. That is a new month. We don't go by all of these things, and you got all these people that want to deal with the Enoch calendar and the Enoch this. All of these people, this gives them the opportunity to so-called entertain this worshiping of angels. This book is full of men who dealt with angels, but the angels came here. They didn't go there. They didn't have to go nowhere to meet with the angels. The angels came to them. The angels are servants of Yahweh. So why does somebody need to go somewhere else to deal with a servant? He's sending the servant where he's supposed to go. So that book in itself don't make no sense. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 6. If your father at all miss me, then say, David earnestly asked leave of me that he might run to Bethlehem, his city, for there is a yearly sacrifice there for all the family. If he say thus, It is well, your servant shall have peace. But if he be very angry, then be sure that evil is determined by him. Therefore you shall deal kindly with your servant, for you have brought your servant into a covenant of Yahweh with you. Notwithstanding, if there be in me iniquity, slay me yourself. For why should you bring me to your father? And Jonathan said, Far be it from me. For if I knew certainly that evil were determined by my father to come upon you, then would not I tell you? Then said David to Jonathan, Who shall tell me? Or what if your father answer you roughly? And Jonathan said unto David, Come, let us go out into the field. And they went out, both of them, into the field.
Now, understand, this is a hard place for Jonathan to sit. He's sitting in between two people that he loved. He's standing in between two people that he loved, and one of them want to kill the other. Go ahead.
And Jonathan said unto David, O Yahweh Elohim of Israel, when I have sounded my father about tomorrow any time, or the third day, and, behold, if there be good toward David, and I then send not unto you, and show it you, Yahweh do so, and much more to Jonathan. But if it please my father to do you evil, then I will show it you, and send you away, that you may go in peace, and Yahweh be with you, as he hath been with my father. And you shall not only while yet I live show me the kindness of Yahweh, that I die not. But also you shall not cut off your kindness from my house forever. No, not when Yahweh had cut off the enemies of David, every one from the face of the earth. So Jonathan made a covenant with the house of David, saying, let Yahweh even require it at the hand of David's enemies. And Jonathan caused David to swear again, because he loved him, for he loved him as he loved his own soul. Then Jonathan said to David, tomorrow is the new moon, and you shall be missed, because your seat will be empty. And when you have stayed 3 days, then you shall go down quickly and come to the place where you did hide yourself when the business was in hand, and shall remain by the stone Ezel. And I will shoot 3 arrows on the side thereof, as though I shot at a mark. And, behold, I will send a lad, saying, go find out the arrows. If I expressly say unto the lad, behold, the arrows are on this side of you, take them, then come you, for there is peace to you, and no hurt, as Yahweh liveth. But if I say thus unto the young man, behold, the arrows are beyond you, go your way, for Yahweh hath sent you away.
Right. So it's just like the same thing that I tell people. Sometimes you're not talking to the person who you see, but somebody else who's standing near. They're doing this, and this is the thing that they have set up to do out loud, so that even the person who's running to go get the arrows don't understand that he's telling David, okay, there is evil determined, you need to leave. Go ahead.
Verse 23. And as touching the matter which you and I have spoken of, behold, Yahweh be between you and me forever. So David hid himself in the field. And when the new moon was come, the king sat him down to eat meat. And the king sat upon his seat, as at other times, even upon a seat by the wall. And Jonathan arose, and Abner sat by Saul's seat, and David's place was empty. Nevertheless, Saul spake not anything that night, for he thought, something has befallen him. He's not clean. Surely he's not clean.
So he was expected to be at the new moon celebration. So if he wasn't there, he said he must be unclean. That's the only reason he would miss it. You got people that's been Hebrews for years, and they don't even know what a new moon is, because their folks not teaching them anything about it. Go ahead.
And it came to pass on the morrow, which was the 2nd day of the month, that David's place was empty. And Saul said unto Jonathan his son.
And you see that? It came to pass on the morrow, which was the 2nd day of the month. The new moon was the 1st day of the month. That's how you govern the months. So the next day was the 2nd day of the month. See, we don't need some magical calendar that somebody so-called dropped out of heaven. We already got the signs and the things that Yahweh has given unto us. Go ahead.
Wherefore cometh not the son of Jesse to meat, neither yesterday nor today? And Jonathan answered Saul, David earnestly asked leave of me to go to Bethlehem. And he said, let me go, I pray you, for our family hath a sacrifice in the city.
Now, in case y'all ain't noticed, there's a lot of lying going on up in here. There's a lot of lying up here, because half this stuff, ain't none of this stuff true. They lying. But this stuff got somebody's life in hand on it. We lie for no reason at all. We ain't gonna get no money for it. We ain't gonna get no nothing for it. It's just gonna make people look at us different. That's the only reason we lie for nothing. This man could get killed. So don't underestimate what's going on here. Like they just lying, and they lying. It's okay. He's trying to figure out if his daddy really want to kill this man. Go ahead.
And my brother, he has commanded me to be there. And now, if I have found favor in your eyes, let me get away, I pray you, and see my brethren. Therefore he cometh not unto the king's table. Then Saul's anger was kindled against Jonathan, and he said unto him, you son of the perverse, rebellious woman.
Yeah. Now see, here it come out. All it takes for us to get ticked off. All it takes for us to get ticked off, and here it come. Now he going at his own son. Now, go ahead.
Do not I know that you have chosen the son of Jesse to your own confusion and unto the confusion of your mother's nakedness? For as long as the son of Jesse liveth upon the ground, you shall not be established, nor your kingdom. Wherefore now send and fetch him unto me, for he shall surely die.
Now that lie gone now. See, he hid that lie. He hid that lie as long as he could. But doing this brought out the lie. Go ahead.
And Jonathan answered Saul his father, and said unto him, Wherefore shall he be slain? What has he done? And Saul cast a javelin at him to smite him.
He threw the javelin at his own son now. I told y'all I'd have been watching that javelin. Every time I go somewhere, hey, what a javelin, brother? How you doing, bro? Shalom, bro. What a javelin? That'd have been my first thing was shalom. The next one would have been, what a javelin? That's all I would have ever done. The first two questions every time I see him. Shalom, brother. How you doing? What a javelin? I'd be asking him, kid, you seen the javelin? Eli, you seen the javelin? What a javelin at, brother? I need to know where that thing at. I need to know what direction this thing can, where it's at. Because if it's near him, I got to be far enough to where his aim ain't good. Go ahead.
Whereby Jonathan knew that it was determined of his father to slay Dawid. So Jonathan arose from the table in fierce anger, and did eat no meat the second day of the month, for he was grieved for Dawid, because his father had done him shame.
Right. He is hurt. He is generally hurt, genuinely hurt, because he really thought his father had good intentions. He really believed that his intentions were good. And sometimes this stuff really does hurt when you see something one way, but that's really not the way that it is. And his father gave him all the indications that he had these good intentions, but he never did. Go ahead.
And it came to pass in the morning that Jonathan went out into the field at the time appointed with Dawid, and a little lad with him. And he said unto his lad, Run, find out now the arrows which I shot. And as the lad ran, he shot an arrow beyond him. And when the lad was come to the place of the arrow which Jonathan had shot, Jonathan cried after the lad, and said, Is not the arrow beyond you? And Jonathan cried after the lad, Make speed, haste, stay not. And Jonathan's lad gathered up the arrows, and came to his master. But the lad knew not anything, only Jonathan and Dawid knew the matter. And Jonathan gave his artillery unto his lad, and said unto him, Go, carry them to the city. And as soon as the lad was gone, Dawid arose out of the place toward the south, and fell on his face to the ground, and bowed himself 3 times. And they kissed one another, and wept one with another, until Dawid exceeded. And Jonathan said to Dawid, Go in peace, for as much as we have sworn both of us in the name of Yahweh, saying, Yahweh be between me and you, and between my seed and your seed forever. And he arose and departed, and Jonathan went into the city.
And he said, Yahweh be between me and you. This is truly his friend, and he went all the way down to the wire with his friend, even against his own father. Remember, it's something in this word that says, he that loves mother and father more than me is not worthy of me. We have to consider how many of us would have went that far for our friend. But this man, understanding who Dawid was to be, he has done a great thing in the sight of Yahweh in preserving Dawid's life. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 4. Ephesians chapter 4, and let's read verses 21 through 32.
Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 21. If so be that you have heard him, and have been taught by him, as the truth is in Yahshua, that you put off concerning the former conversation the old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lust.
Right. What happens is we're not supposed to keep dealing with things the same way we've always dealt with it. See, we've learned how to deal with things by the daughter of Babylon. The daughter of Babylon have taught us how certain things ought to be done. So we go into gear automatically because we are creatures of habit. We do things without even thinking about it. If this happened, then this is what I'm supposed to do. Who told you that? Well, I've gotten used to this, what I'm supposed to do. Go ahead.
And be renewed in the spirit of your mind.
Be renewed in the spirit of your mind. See, being born again naturally is one thing in that baptism. Being spiritually reborn takes a process. But in that process, you got to be able to look at yourself. It says, judge yourself and you'll be not judged. See, if you don't deal with those things, then Yahweh got to deal with them. You're probably not going to like if he deal with them. You're probably not going to like the way that comes. Go ahead.
And that you put on the new man, which after Elohim is created in righteousness and true holiness.
And it takes a time for that. That's not just going to automatically be upon you. You have to work for that. Go ahead.
Wherefore, putting away lying, speak every man truth with his neighbor, for we are members one of another.
Right. Wherefore, put away lying, speak every man truth with his neighbor. And we lie for feeling's sake. Some good, some bad. And somebody got on a hideous outfit, and then they ask you, how I look in this? Oh, you look fine. But you have to ask who that benefit. See, that was for your benefit. That wasn't for them. See, we act like, well, I didn't want to hurt their feeling. Oh, they feeling gonna get hurt when they go outside, and people be like, man, what that is you got on? Well, my friend told me this was fine. Your friend lied to you. So the friend didn't do that for the other friend's sake. They did it for their own sake because they didn't want to feel uncomfortable. See, sometimes if you truly have a friend, you got to stand somewhere uncomfortable. Look, boo-boo, I wouldn't wear that out the house. I mean, if you're going to be in your house and all the blinds are down, and then there's curtains on top of those blinds, and then all the lights are off, and then it's midnight, then you can wear that outfit. Sometimes you got to stand in an uncomfortable place. But isn't it better to stand in that uncomfortable place for a minute than have your friend to go out and get embarrassed and everybody laughing at him? Remember that part of I'm gonna get you sucker when the dude came out with the shoe with the fish tank in him? He had the big stack, and he thought he was still inside. He been in prison for like 20 years, Jack. So he got back out. Well, he thought he was bad. They had the theme music and everything. He was rocking them bell bottom, and folks were like, ah! They looking at him but he thought he was sharp. See, he didn't run into nobody. See, he had to run into somebody. After that, they say, hey, bro, you can't wear that no more, bro. Them clothes 20 years old, bro. Hey, don't nobody wear stacks no more. Men don't wear. Consider that. Men wore high heels. People think Prince was the only one who wore high heels. Men used to wear high heels. What you think stacks were? Those high heels. But see, sometimes you have to stand in a difficult place. Moshe had to stand in a difficult place to stand in front of Yahweh to keep Yahweh from destroying Israel. You have to consider somebody stood in a difficult place for us. Yahshua stood in a difficult place for us. And we're not worthy. Go ahead.
Verse 26. Be you angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your anger.
Be you angry. You know, we're going to get angry because everybody feels some way. But we have to be careful what we allow the anger to do. See, sometimes when you get angry, there's this anxiety part that feels that comes upon you. And then you got to move. And you got to do something. You got to fight that. Because, see, then you may end up regretting everything that you do right after you got angry. Because, see, that anger, it'll start directing your movements. Now, it has caused you to do this. Then you calm down and be like, uh-oh. You can't undo all that stuff now. You can't unsay. See, when we were little, we used to say that, we say something stupid. You know what, my bad, bro, I'll take that back. That's something kids do. You got to realize when you grown, you can't take nothing back after you say it. You can't take it back. You can't take it back out of that person's ears, out of their mind. And it all happened just because we was angry at that time. You have to consider how you feel at one particular moment should not decide how the rest of your life is governed. Go ahead.
Neither give place to the devil. Let him that stole steal no more, but rather let him labor, working with his hands the thing which is good, that he may have to give to him that needeth.
And let me tell you something. This is not just a situation between individuals. This stuff goes even into our personal relationships, our marriages. I used to do this thing where when I got mad, we were breaking up every time we got into an argument. You know what? We done. We arguing over biscuits. And then I done took the biscuits to we breaking up. We breaking. You know what? You go on your way. Because I like butter on my biscuit. So we breaking up for butter biscuits? Right? But see, that's that being angry. And we got to do something right now with this anger. Man, that stuff caused me so much collateral damage. Cause I'm angry right now, and I got to do something about my anger right now. And that push to do something about it right now, that stuff come back and hunt you. Now I got all of these issues, and a lot of these issues happen because of things that I did when I was angry that then pushed the other person to do, because every action has a reaction. Because after you do something, then something else gonna happen. Then you gonna feel the need, because we take it like, little tennis game. Oh, well, you gonna hit it back at me? Well, I'm gonna hit it back at you then. Okay, what the hell? Next thing you know, now you all back and forth. Man. Right. Go ahead.
Verse 29. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying.
Right. Corrupt communication could be anything that does not edify. And we get to the point once we get angry, here come the corrupt communication. See, I used to see those situations where, there's certain women who will always be in an abusive relationship. And I just used to wonder, why do they keep finding these abusive dudes? They were making abusive dudes. Corrupt communication. They would keep pushing the man buttons until he react. And you pushing up buttons, something gonna happen, I guarantee you. You ain't got to know how to fly a plane, but you go in there and push enough buttons, you gonna start it. Just keep on pushing. Sooner or later, now you gonna kill your fool self. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no doubt about it. But that plane gonna crank. You pushing up buttons, something gonna happen. Landing gear might, come out, wing may go out, but you keep pushing enough buttons, something gonna happen. Now you might not get the result that you looking for, but you gonna get a reaction. You keep pushing buttons. And I found that that's what some people do. They just keep pushing buttons. And eventually, you gonna push the right one. Every man got a button, every woman got a button, everybody got a button. And you pushing up buttons, you gonna find that button. Go ahead.
That it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you are sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you.
Forgiving one another, even as Elohim for the Mashiach's sake have forgiven you. See, this is one of those things. I see those brothers out on the corner of the street. Why those brothers are so aggressive is because their leaders have told them if when they talk to people, if that person does not hear them right away, they feel like they have failed, and then they go and attack these people. So in 1 minute they're speaking the word, the next minute they cussing the person out on the side of the street. How you go from A to Z that quick? See, there's some things. And be you kind one to another, tenderhearted. None of that yelling at one another on the side of the street. That don't sound like tenderheartedness to me. Forgiving one another, even as Elohim for the Mashiach's sake have forgiven you. You have to consider, how long did it take before we got this word? And I tell people that same thing when one person in the house is coming into the word, but the other person is not. I was in the word by myself with my oldest son for years. That's it. You have to consider that. Just because you get the word, do you go home with a hammer and start beating on everybody else's head? It's Sabbath day. Hey, woman, it's Sabbath day. Hey, brother, put the hammer down. Put the hammer that bag away from the woman and put that hammer down, brother. Get a woman some time. How much time it took you? Well, give her that much time. See, that's some things that we have to, but as it is written, a man who has a friend must show himself friendly. Let's go to Revelation chapter 3. Go ahead, bro.
I was just going to say, even with the brothers on the corner, when it comes to the point where now you cursing the people out, that becomes corrupt communication.
Of course.
There's no edification. You're not edifying anyone once you've started turning on them.
No, not at all. It's not edifying to anybody. Matter of fact, and here's the thing. People like to see, that's that Jerry Springer type thing. So people like to see that kind of stuff. So people go on the internet, man, they got 10,000 views. Because people like to see foolishness. People like, but they don't understand. There's a difference between laughing with you and laughing at you. They're not watching those videos for righteousness' sake. They laugh at what he been cuss me. Well, he been hitting with the bullhorn. What the Then they like, look at these fools. That's not why they looking at you. So people getting views, but they getting the views for all the wrong reasons. See? And they don't understand that. They don't understand. It's like the kid who ain't right, acting all crazy in school, thinking that this gonna make him have more friends. They laughing at you, man. They not laughing with you. You the only one getting in trouble. You the only one getting dragged out of class. All them, they learn everything else they supposed to learn. You the only one. So they do these things, and now you got other people that's kind of pushed to do some of that. Maybe we should do some of that so we can get some views. You go right ahead. But we don't play like that. Go ahead, brother. Revelation chapter 3, and let's start at verse 13.
He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches. And unto the angels of the church of the Laodiceans write, These things saith the Amen, the faithful and true witness, the beginning of the creation of Elohim. I know your works, that you are neither cold nor hot. I would that you were cold or hot.
Now, the first thing you have to look at here, it starts talking about to the angel of the church. We have to remember the things that are written and what these things mean. Because we don't see these holy angels, we don't understand what's going on. Go ahead.
So then, because you are lukewarm and neither cold or hot, I will spew you out of my mouth. Because you saith, I am rich, and increase with goods, and have need of nothing, and knoweth not that you are wretched and miserable and poor and blind and naked.
Understand something. Yahweh could give you some money and leave you out there, and people with money, and they can get whatever it is they want whenever they want it. They have no reason to seek Yahweh, and he could have left you there. And they feel justified where they are. Because Yahweh hasn't shown them him, and he hasn't shown them his power. Go ahead.
I counsel you to buy of me gold tried in the fire, that you may be rich, and white raiment, that you may be clothed, and that the shame of your nakedness do not appear. And anoint your eyes with eye salve, that you may see. As many as I love, I rebuke and chasten. Be zealous, therefore, and repent.
As many as I love, I rebuke and I chasten. Be zealous, therefore, and repent. To repent, you got to stop doing it. Now, it doesn't mean that you're going to stop right away. You may fail. You may stop 3-4 times on something. It might take 5, 6, 7. But each time you get back up and try again. Go ahead.
Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him and he with me.
Behold, I stand at the door and knock. Yahshua is the way and the door to the kingdom. Now he says, behold, I stand at the door and knock. Go ahead.
To him that overcometh will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I also overcame and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches.
All right, let's go to Exodus chapter 23. Exodus chapter 23, and we're going to read verses 20 through 23. Now remember, as we only read one of those things about the 7 churches, but do understand each one of those churches had an angel. See, this is why you have to consider how you are doing what you are doing. This angel is directing them. There's an angel over each one of those churches. Go ahead.
Exodus chapter 23 and verse 20. Behold, I send an angel before you to keep you in the way.
Right. I send an angel before you to keep you in the way. So the angel is there to guide the church in the wilderness. So you understand these things. See, this is why people end up getting in trouble for how they deal with holy things. Because they don't see the angel. They don't understand how order is supposed to be given. Go ahead.
And to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him and obey his voice.
Beware of him and obey his voice. Go ahead.
Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him.
My name is in him. So when they hear, thus says Yahweh, or even speaking, and they believe that it's Yahweh speaking, it's the angel speaking in Yahweh's name. Because he's been given that authority. And he ain't got to ask Yahweh to kill you. You step out of line, then you put his job in jeopardy. Because he got a charge to do. And he ain't going to go back to Yahweh with no excuse. Go ahead.
But if you shall indeed obey his voice and do all that I speak.
Right. Obey his voice and do all that I speak. So he'll be speaking in the name of Yahweh. Go ahead.
Then will I be an enemy unto your enemies and an adversary unto your adversaries.
All right. Did you finish that?
Yeah. Verse 22.
Do verse 23.
For mine angel shall go before you and bring you in unto the Amorites and the Hittites and the Perizzites and the Canaanites, the Hivites and the Jebusites, and I will cut them off.
Right. For mine angel will go before you. He will lead you in the way that you're supposed to go. Let's go to Exodus chapter 33, and we're going to read verses 1 through 11. See, we don't understand that these things are holy things. When you talk about the children of Israel being forced out of the daughter of Babylon and be sanctified in that wilderness and then go into that holy land, it is a holy war, and everybody don't get to fight in the holy war. You have to be chosen. You don't get to go in just because you showed up. They don't let everybody join the army. They had to check you out. No, brother, no, you got flat feet. You can't get in there. What? If you got certain issues, they won't let you get in there. Well, Yahweh got some stipulations. Exodus chapter 33 and verse 1 through 11.
And Yahweh said unto Moshe, Depart, and go up hence, you and the people which you have brought up out of the land of Egypt, unto the land which I swear unto Abraham, unto Isaac, and to Jacob, saying, Unto your seed will I give it. And I will send an angel before you, and I will drive out the Canaanite, and the Amorite, and the Hittite, and the Perizzite, the Hivite, and the Jebusite.
So once again, we keep seeing that this angel is going before. We read Revelations, we hear the angel over these churches, so then we understand why we have to do things a certain way within our congregation. Go ahead.
Unto a land flowing with milk and honey. For I will not go up in the midst of you, for you are a stiff-necked people, lest I consume you in the way.
Right. The stiff-necked operations of Israel will end up, if Yahweh is amongst them, it will cause Yahweh to end up consuming the people. So he's got to separate the children of Israel from that holiness, or he's going to end up destroying us. Go ahead.
And when the people heard these evil tidings, they mourned, and no man did put on him his ornaments. For Yahweh had said unto Moshe, Say unto the children of Israel, you are a stiff-necked people.
Right. See, when you say what thus says Yahweh, you don't get a whole lot of friends. See, people want to hear a bunch of niceties. See, people pack in on church, at church on Sunday, so they can hear motivational speeches. If that person got up there and said, y'all a bunch of stiff-necked people, they ain't going to be there next Sunday. He going to open that collection box, going to be some rocks in there. They ain't going to drop, here you go, and put that rock in there. See how you can call me stiff-necked again. Oh yeah, they'll show you. They'll show you. See, people have a tendency to not gravitate toward the truth. Liars have many more friends than people who tell the truth. Go ahead.
I will come up into the midst of you in a moment and consume you. Therefore now put off your ornaments from you, that I may know what to do unto you. And the children of Israel stripped themselves of their ornaments by the Mount Horeb. And Moshe took the tabernacle and pitched it without the camp, afar off from the camp.
Moshe took the tabernacle and moved it outside the camp. Say, look here, man, if holiness is amongst y'all, we all gonna die. Take the holiness and put it over here. Go ahead.
And called it the tabernacle of the congregation. And it came to pass that everyone which sought Yahweh went out onto the tabernacle of the congregation, which was without the camp.
Right, which is outside the camp. See, all that pettiness. Israel the same today as we was before. A whole bunch of pettiness, just going back and forth. Just petty this, petty that. Don't know Yahweh about to come in and kill all of us. So, man, move the tabernacle before I have to kill everybody. Go ahead.
And it came to pass, when Moshe went out onto the tabernacle, that all the people rose up and stood every man at his tent door and looked after Moshe until he was gone into the tabernacle.
Mm-hmm.
And it came to pass, as Moshe entered into the tabernacle, the cloudy pillar descended and stood at the door of the tabernacle, and Yahweh talked with Moshe.
All right, and the cloudy pillar descended and stood at the door of the tabernacle. Go ahead.
And all the people saw the cloudy pillar stand at the tabernacle door, and all the people rose up and worshipped, every man in his tent door.
Every man is in his tent door while he is at the door of the tabernacle. Go ahead.
And Yahweh spake unto Moshe face to face, as a man speaketh unto his friend.
And friends don't speak face to face no more. You know, people be right in front of each other and put something on Facebook. Folk be in the house with one another. I am upset with you. Post. Walk downstairs, man. Go ahead.
And he turned again into the camp. But his servant Joshua, the son of Nun, a young man, departed not out of the tabernacle.
Right, because he was being trained to be the next one. Let's back up Exodus 29. Exodus 29, and let's read verses 42 through 45.
Verse 42. This shall be a continual burnt offering throughout your generations at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation before Yahweh, where I will meet you to speak thereon to you.
Right. So when he says, behold, I stand at the door and knock, understand all of this stuff happens at the door of the tabernacle. See, a lot of times people just think we're doing some stuff and we saying some stuff, you know, because it sound good. There's some reasons behind these things. Go ahead.
And there I will meet with the children of Israel, and the tabernacle shall be sanctified by my glory. And I will sanctify the tabernacle of the congregation and the altar. I will sanctify also both Aaron and his sons to minister to me in the priest's office. And I will dwell among the children of Israel, and will be their Elohim. And they shall know that I am Yahweh their Elohim, that brought them forth out of the land of Egypt, that I may dwell among them. I am Yahweh their Elohim.
That I may dwell among them. For Yahweh to dwell among us, there's some things that we have to get in order. But let us hit a conclusion of this matter. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 3. First Corinthians chapter 3, and we're going to read verses 1 through 17.
Verse 1. And I, brethren, could not speak unto you as unto spiritual, but as unto carnal, even as unto babes in the Messiah. I have fed you with milk, and not with meat. For hitherto you were not able to bear it, neither yet now are you able. For you are yet carnal, for whereas there is among you envying and strife and divisions, are you not carnal, and walk as men? For while one saith, I am of Saul, and another, I am of Apollos. Are you not carnal?
Right. Them little divisions between us. Well, I came to the word under this group. Well, I came in the word under this group. See, that's what happens. And the same things that are happening amongst the divisions of the daughters of Babylon, the same thing happened in the word. You got brothers downtown playing battle script, just throwing scripts at one another. And they love to have it so. Go ahead.
Who then is Saul, and who is Apollos, but ministers by whom you believe, even as the Adonai gave to every man? I have planted, Apollos watered, but Elohim gave the increase. So then neither is he that planteth anything, neither he that watereth, but Elohim that giveth the increase. Now he that planteth and he that watereth are one, and every man shall receive his own reward according to his own labor.
According to his own labor. Go ahead.
For we are laborers together with Elohim. You are Elohim's husbandry. You are Elohim's building.
You are Elohim's building. Now, Yahweh said he would meet with the children of Israel at the door of the tabernacle. Go ahead.
According to the grace of Elohim which is given unto me, as a wise master builder, I have laid the foundation, and another buildeth thereon. But let every man take heed how he buildeth thereupon. For other foundation can no man lay than that is laid, which is Yahshua the Mashiach. Now if any man build upon this foundation, gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, stubble, every man's work shall be made manifest, for the day shall declare it, because it shall be revealed by fire, and the fire shall try every man's work of what sort it is. If any man's work abide, which he has built thereupon, he shall receive a reward. If any man's work shall be burnt, he shall suffer loss, but he himself shall be saved, yet so as by fire. Know you not that you are the temple of the living? Know you not that you are the temple of Elohim, and that the Spirit of Elohim dwelleth in you? If any man defile the temple of Elohim, him shall Elohim destroy. For the temple of Elohim is holy, which temple you are.
You are the temple, and your heart is the door of that temple. So let every man guard his heart, because it is there where the angel of Elohim shall commune with you. That's all that we're going to do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.